CAS tutorial number 5, skinning. Today I'm going to show you about making your skin or texture, just like with what I did with the eyes and the feathers before this. Now, we do not need these any longer. Oh. We do not need these any longer, so just delete those. And more importantly, save as. I'm just going to be calling it Paradise Skin. That way, once again, if I do something wrong, I can just go back and have a point where I can go to. Now, before I actually go into skinning it, this is another one of the things that has been changed. At first it was a little awkward for me, but... oh, shoot. Alright. Cut all that. Before we go to skin, I have to show you something. Now, if you noticed, when I select that, all of these did not get selected with it. First, we have to attach the items. Now, I don't know why they did this. But you can go to group and group things and do an assembly. I have not found any use for any of those ever. At least not yet. So, what we actually need to do is go into your edit. There's just a little attach button over here. Click that, and click another item. Now if you notice, it's still selected. So you can attach multiple items. But if you notice, there's already a problem. I think I selected too many of them. Yes, I did. So, that's why save changes? No. Now, try this again. Attach, click on the head. So the feathers in the eyes are not attached because if we try to attach it, I'll take the skin that I already did for the feathers and put it onto the heads. Now, there is something we can do later on to actually attach the feathers. But for now, we need to add another modifier. We need to first do the mapping clear. That way any breaks in the model will be erased. And I'll explain that in a minute. We need to go down to Unwrap UVW. Now, if you see those green lines, those are edges. Now the clearing had cleared any of the other green lines that would have been in the model. Like where I attach the wing to the side, it would have had the green lines there, indicating that they're separate. So now, one of the things I do to get a smooth coloring on my models is I separate where I'm going to have different coloring. Like the beak, I'm going to have a completely different color from the head. Now, for ones I've used 3ds Max before 2013, you're used to it telling you exactly what everything is. Now they're using pictures. So, what we need to do is first edges. Of course, I told you that is the lines. Vertex are the points connecting the polygons, and then the face is the polygon. Now, down here you can just click it on, select that. And here you click that, it loops it all the way around. Now what I like is that it actually tells you or shows you what it is exactly. Ring goes up and down, but we don't need to select anything like that right now. Now, down here you have your quick peel, peel mode, reset peel, and pelt map. And then here you have your seams, your edit seams, point-to-point seams, convert edge selection to seams, and expand face selection to seams. Now the seam is what I told you before. It's the green line, indicating that the pelt ends right there. What we need right now is point-to-point seams. I'm going to show you edit seams real quick. That, click on the line, and that's where your seam is. And you hold down Alt, and it gets rid of it. Right now what we need is the point-to-point. With this, you select the vertice. And then you can select another vertice a little later, or a little further, and it will instantly select all the edges between those points. Now, let's say I want to cut it all the way over to the end here. Now there's an almost obvious line, but it'll take what it thinks is the quickest route. Now, so we want to come over here, but let's say you don't want to do it like that. You're going to have to go through and ease it along. What I want, though, is to go down here. Now, I know it looks like a mess down here, but like I said, smoothing that out is going to fix it.
do the inside too. Should be a little bit easier because I just need to click on one side. And then click on that, and the middle should be highlighted for me.
Oh. Oh, nope. Okay. Alright, notice that? That line here is not selected, but if I zoom in, it is. So don't be fooled like I just did. Alright, so we're done, right? Now, click on the polygon. I already selected all those polygons off screen, and it looks like I did a pretty good job. Now, just to show you, you can click on the polygon there. If you notice, this had highlighted. Click that to expand this face selection to the seam. So if it was a perfect seam, it should only select what you want. Now, to start actually doing your UVs. Now you click on this over here, and it opens up your map. Now the problem is, if I want to color it, if I try to put a color over here, all of those faces are going to get colored. So if I want to try to color the mouth, if you notice, it's highlighted here. So everything in this area is going to be colored the same. Which is why when I attach the feathers, the color that I put on the feathers appeared on the front of the face. So, what we need to do is change the wrapping of the models here, or polygons here, so that we can paint only one section of it. Now remember, this is translating from 3D to 2D back again. You can't exactly color a 3D model and have it render properly without making it a 2D. So, click on Pelt Map. What this does, it pulls up only what you have selected down here. If you notice, now, since I did that, my blue lines became green. And don't worry, it's still selected. Now, here we see exactly what this is. Now if I click Start Pelt, it's going to pull it apart like that. If you notice, your model is still the same. So what you do here is not going to affect here, and what you do here is not going to affect here. However, because I did the Start Pelt, it pulled the polygons apart. But we still have some overlapping polygons here. Or in this case, I should start calling them faces. So what we could do is hit Start Relax. But that's causing more of a problem. So, one easy solution, because this is a 3D model, it's trying to pull all of the polygons here outwards to make a flat surface. I would love to see you try to get a sock and pull it flat by pulling out the edges. Can't do that, you have to cut it. So what we're going to do is cut it down the middle here. But if you notice, I can't exactly do it in the middle because I don't have a line here. Don't want to put a line there because that would create two triangles. So we're still going to do it in the middle on the inside of the mouth because since it's on the inside, you will not be able to see any hiccups in the oh, that was if you notice, I clicked on the wrong vertice, and so it cut all the way up there. Now, to prevent any weird things happening, cut it down there. And so now when I pelt it, instead of just trying to pull a sock out flat, it's actually going to cut there and pull it from there as well. And as you can see, there's less overlapping faces. And now some of the polygons are a bit small, but I can try to relax it. But what's going to happen, you see this circle. Not many people explain this, but these are anchors. What's going to happen is that it's going to try to pull this vertice as close to the circle as it possibly can. But it's going to do it in that direct line. Let's watch this section here as I relax it. It's not doing exactly as I explained, but if you notice down here, it's pulling these out. Now I Control Z to undo. And what you can do, you can move these around, even out. If you relax it, oh, don't leave just one thing highlighted, just to let you know. Notice it's completely different. Now, I don't like how the relaxing is doing it, so I'm just going to undo and leave it as is. Now, there's a lot of settings you can do. I'm not fully 100% sure what they do, but you can play around and see if something else works the way you want it to. For me, having it as the default works well. I've only had to do, mess with the settings twice. You click commit, and all those are now a separate face, which is overlapping everything. So for now, while it's still selected, you click the move up here. Do not try to click the move up here. You have to click the move down here. Same thing if you want to select vertices and edges on this right here. And then move it aside. Do not overlap anything because you'd want to be able to highlight just that. Now there's some quick transforms up here. There's some rotates, aligning, and then reshape elements, which I find is not useful. Stitching is for when you have two faces you want to stitch together. Again, I had not had to use that. Another thing I have not had to use breaking, flattened by face angle, flattened by smoothing group, flattened by material ID, and flattened custom. I'm pretty sure these are what I'm doing. But again, a majority of these just do not, the automatics do not work well. So, back up here to the top, doing the same thing I did. Now you don't have to click on vertex and edges to work these, but you have to have it on polygon to select the face to expand face selection to seams. It's going to be a little tricky to do. I think I got it. Alright, that's pretty much the middle. Now, it does not have to be exactly the middle, just as long as you have a cut in there. And it works. I'm an idiot. Just gonna make sure I didn't screw anything up. Alright. Make sure you have that on selected when you go to select the face. Everything works. Now, I already see a little mistake up here. The relaxing's not going to do much, but what you can just do is, I have vertex selected, click on the point that's messing up, and move it. And it's good. Just double checking and commit. Move it out of the way. Now, the head of the bird is going to be all the same. But I want to separate from the wings just to make texturing it a lot easier. But wait, Cass, you have another head over there. You're right. I should probably go and do the beak over here real quick.
This is going to take a while, so I'm going to have to stop it soon. Okay, I'll go with that. Smells massively different. I don't understand that. being shrunk really made that much of a difference. Yeah, I'm way off. Bigger with that one, but it works.
Alright, so, like I said before, we are going to need to cut this up. Now, we can just cut it in half, like exactly. That could work. Or we could just do it in sections. Personally, for something like the head, I don't want to just cut it in half. Mainly because of how I do the skins. So, instead, we're just going to cut it in small sections. Now, one thing I've found, it's going to be hard to have holes like this in your skinning. So let's start here. Alright, now I'm just thinking we should just cut this in half now. It'd be a little bit easier on the pelting. Do it from here. All the way around. And now because I got this down here, I probably should cut it in half on the top.
Let's do it from here.
For the front, it's going to be a lot easier if we make a slit down the front here. Or is it? Let's try it without first. Let's straighten this out. Now I'm going to see if Relax will actually help this out a bit, because I'm a little concerned about this grouping. Ironically, it just made that grouping worse. Now usually when I have something that's similar, I just copy it exactly, like cut it exactly. But he has no wings. So with him cutting, it's going to take fewer pelts. So I'm going to start at the edge of his beak here.
Right there's good. I'm going to go up and around here. There is fine. Yeah, it's right there. One part should be fine. For the top part, I think I just make so there's not a hole there.
Alright, there's some areas in here that are clumped together. I'm going to see if Relax will help it. And it does. Just make sure it's fine. Now, I don't like it when the polygons are so small like that and close together. Aha. There is a problem down here. It's like Ghostbusters. You don't want to cross the beams. Now for the wings. Now these I want to be pretty much almost exact. Like on each side. So I'm going to start cutting it from here.
Great, this is gonna be. Oh, you know what? I'm just gonna start cutting it that way. More.
A small problem is that it's not going to be exactly the same. That's fine, and I'll show you why I want it to be pretty much close to being the same. First, obviously, don't want to do that. Now I'm going to start messing with settings. Well, that's almost spot on.
This is gonna be a little different.
Alright. Some people will tell you that this is not a good idea. And I'm about to believe them at this point. Let's see if... So what I'm doing is overlapping two shapes. The thing is, I'm overlapping similar shapes. What that is going to do is when I color them, the color that I'm going to put in is going to go through onto both of the shapes. So both sides of the wings, or both wings, will be colored pretty much similarly. Now there are a few drawbacks on that. Like because both the skins there are different, it is going to wind up looking a little bit different on the model. But that's fine. I don't mind that. And because the two heads are the same, I would be doing that to them as well. But I had to cut them differently, so that's not going to work. Except the beaks here. Notice they're both pretty much the same. So I'm going to do the same trick with those. This would be a good time to save. Now, if you recall what I said, we have to fit everything in this box for it to register. So what am I going to do? First of all, the first obvious step, shrink everything. Now before I do anything, I want to show you a couple things. And again, because it's the computer doing it, it probably won't wind up exactly how you want it to. Now here, arrange elements. This is an automatic packing system. What it's going to do is going to take the shapes here and put them into this box. Now you can have it rescale, rotate. Let's see what those both do. Pack together, pack normalize, pack custom, rescale elements. Let's click on this one, see what that does. That might work, but let's see this. Now, I've done something similar to this. If you notice, a couple of these are extremely tiny. There's a lot of space. I personally like to have the shapes as big as you possibly can. So, let's take rescale off and see what happens. Still don't like how small it's making it. So, let's do it this way. This is like a puzzle to me, because we have to fit them pretty much exact. And I don't want to waste any space in the square. Let's try to put this in the corner. Something I should have pointed out before I did all of this. If you notice, when I highlight some of the polygons, some edges become blue. Blue means that's where the polygons landing together on the 3D model, just for future reference. Alright, now, save. What you want to do, tools. Render UVW template. Over here it's telling you your width and your height. Force two-sided, that means if you have your model with two sides, like I did with the feathers, that means it's going to copy on both sides. Now, fill, you get to change the color of the filling. Mode, you got the solid, normal, shaded. I'm not going to bother showing you what all that does. You can explore that on your own. If you have polygons that are overlapping, click on that, and the red will show you what's overlapping. Those have really done that for me. Edges, which are your lines here. Now you can click on visible edges, which is the edges that you see. Seam edges, which will be in green. And to see how it looks, you click on Render UV Template. Now if you notice, since I clicked visible edges off, the yellow lines are gone. Now, click up here to save it. And over here, apparently all you have is RGB alpha, but you might have more, and you can switch how it's going to save it. Over here are your color schemes. Make sure you save it in a name that you can remember or find, whatever, doesn't matter. Stop that. Now, before you click save over here, you have to tell it what format you want it to be in. I always do JPEG. It's the cleanest, smallest size, and it'll work for what I'm doing. Now here you can control the image, like quality, the size, smoothing, everything's fine. Now, that's been rendered. And save it again just to make sure. And I'm going to pull up Photoshop, and I'll show you why. Now, for what I'm going to do, my medium is in colored pencil. And it's been looking pretty fantastic so far. So what I'm going to have to do is turn all this white so I can actually color it. And because colored pencil's not going to color over ink too well,
what? The eraser's probably gonna do better.
and now we print it, and then I'm going to color it, which I'm going to show you. Alright, I printed out the skin map. I know it's hard to see, but my printer's sucking right now. And one thing that you can't see what I'm doing, I'm actually using my model as a reference. I have the UV editor opened. And right now you can barely tell which piece goes to what. So first I'm going to do the beak. I highlight the beak on the program, and it's going to tell me which shapes are going to be the beak. And it's telling me that these two are the beak pieces. Now what I just did, I colored around the shape, so that when I pull it in, it's going to, there's like a big chance that white will not show through. And you'll see what I mean in a minute. And there. Now, the next step is to scan it in. And of course, that's going to be off screen. Alright, so here is my scan. Now we're going to have to transfer this over to here. And I will tell you why. First of all, if you notice, it's in the wrong rotation. Second, if we drag this over here, notice it's bigger. Now a really good way to line it up, have the top layer be nearly clear. Almost. Now you can use the arrow keys to move it, of course. Now if you see, right here, that's not matching up. Now I can fix that in the program, but that's why down here I colored over the edges, which I did not do enough with the other pieces. That's good. Make sure it's still as a JPEG. Save, OK. And we want to close this. Now, there's another thing that's new to 3ds Max 2013. We want to go to the material editor. Now they've completely changed it. If you notice, there's these things up here that makes no sense. If you notice over here, there's a navigator plane. This is actually your workspace. And it can be infinite. Now, going to work on a clear. Over here, it's all the same. We want to click on the bitmap. Now it's going to load up a bunch of skins that are in their file. I want to load up our skin that we just did. Now if you notice, there's just this little thing here. And there's going to be multiple different options you can do here. But right now, what we need to do I'm doing this in the reverse order, by the way. We want to load one of these up. And now, we attach it. By clicking here and dragging, let's go up to diffuse color. Now that is attached to this bitmap. But now, in order to attach this to a model, we're going to have to click that and drag all the way out to here. Now if you notice, it's all gray. That's because we have to go back here and click up here on Show Shaded Material in Viewport. And now we can close this down. Now why do I do colored pencil? For the texture. My model looks like I just went in and colored it on the model itself with my colored pencil. Now let's see how smooth it actually is. Click off edged faces. And it looks to be pretty spot on. Except, even like the seams on the wings fit perfectly. The only thing that didn't really work out well is this right here. That is because I overlapped the mapping. So it's going to be simple fix. If we turn edged faces back on, open that. What we do is we find the vertices. Oh wait, no, I didn't overlap them. That's right. The overlapped pieces worked fine. Anyway, what we do is we move the vertice. Now if you look over here while I'm moving it, you can actually see where it's moving and that's weird. Okay, so I was moving them both at the same time. I'm a fool. But if you notice over here on the mapping, these vertices are really close. So I just move them up and just make sure my model down there looks smooth. Okay, and this is where the blue highlights are going to come in handy, because now I know I can select that.
My nose is a little off. This house is only slightly off, but it's fine.
There. Now we have our colored bird. Save that. And that is it. We are nearly done. Next, I'm going to show you how to do a skeleton. And for that, I say, good luck and big blum.